So I found this video on YouTube. The Doodle problem. Was your dog unethically bred? And this is Cats Creatures is the channel. And we're just talking about it. We're listening. This is a reaction video. This is the first time I'm listening to it. So we're just going to figure this out together and we're going to sit and we're going to listen. Maybe we'll learn something. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we won't. But we're just going to listen open mindedly and see what Cat has to say.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're talking about the Doodle problem. Now, before you start attacking me in the comments, and I know it will happen, I've already been mentally preparing myself for the hate that I might receive.
Doodle lovers, don't give this girl hate. Don't give this girl hate. Everybody has a right to an opinion. So we're not hating on. We're just listening, reacting, and, that's all we're doing. But we're not giving anybody any hate.
For this. My dad actually even asked me if it was even worth it to film this video for the hate mail that I would receive, but I think that it's important information that more people need to be aware of, so I am taking one for the team today. So let's get one thing straight. I am not here to insult your dog, okay? I have nothing against the dogs themselves. It is never the dog's fault. There's no such thing as a bad dog, only dogs that people have failed. So I'm asking you to please think critically here and realize that I use words like many and some when I'm describing the problems that doodles can have, because
if you can hear in the background, I'm sure you can. It sounds to me like Prudence has already some objections to this, but Prudence, what are you doing? What are you doing, huh? Relax. I love you. Let's listen to what she has to say before we start. We don't want to fight, right? We're not having arguments. We're listening and we're going to respond. Okay. All right. And what she really wants is treats, and I don't have any more.
Recognize that not all doodles have these problems. However, all doodles came from irresponsible breeding practices, and that's what I want to talk about today. This is not me bullying your dog. I don't hate the doodles themselves. I hate the breeding practices that have created them. The point is, I'm not here to insult your dog. If you have a doodle, that's okay. Nobody can go back in time and change what they've done.
Doodle pride. Doodle pride.
You can't undo anything, and I'm sure that most of you probably wouldn't want to because you love your dogs. But my hope is that I can open your eyes to some of the realities of this industry. Dogs actually make really great service animals, but that's not something we're talking about today. The Labradoodle was meant to be the happy medium of the two breeds. Now, since creating the Labradoodle, our good friend Wally has actually come out and say that creating the Labradoodle is one of his biggest regrets, and he regrets unleashing a Frankenstein's monster onto the world. Now that probably...
The inventor of the Keurig said the same thing. People like what they like. If you like to make a single cup of coffee, then that's what you like. Me? I like my St. Bernard Poodle mix. I think she's fantastic.
Probably seems a little bit harsh, and maybe it is, but you'll see why he says that in a minute. People fell in love with these mixes and the demand skyrocketed, leading to pop-up breeders, aka people who have literally no knowledge about dogs, are completely inexperienced, and just bought a couple dogs and dim the lights. These breeders were in it for profit, not for canine welfare, and definitely not for creating high-quality dogs. People started getting creative and decided to start mixing the poodle with literally every other breed on the planet.
Mix it with a poodle. Doodle.
Today we have golden doodles, labradoodles, Irish doodles, bernedoodles,
So
Aussie doodles, piradoodles, Roddy doodles, maladoodles. Whoever created that
St. Bernardadoodles.
That last one must have had death wish. Schnoodles, sheepadoodles, boxer doodles, double doodles. Don't even get me started on the poos. There are a lot of those too. The only reason that doodles were and are being bred is because they're popular, so there's money in it. It's important to keep this in mind because this is the first thing that separates doodles from breeds. Notice how I didn't say other breeds, because doodles are not breeds. Doodles are mutts, or...
Okay, so yeah, doodles are mixed breeds. They are the derogatory term mutt. Yes, they are. But mutts are known to be very physically hardy. Just throwing that out there. And the AKC doesn't have a problem recognizing your doodle as an AKC pal. You can register your doodle with the AKC. Prudence's name is Lady Prudence of Cumberland. No, they will not be competing at Westminster for Best of Show, but they can do AKC sanctioned uh, agility, um, obedience, and other things that I can't think of right now. But yeah, they can't be competing for Best of Show because no, they're not a breed. They're not, and that's not a bad thing. I don't think. Being a mutt myself,
Mixes if you want to be a little bit nicer about it. Purebreds are bred for a purpose. Doodles are bred for profit. And because the main drive for creating these dogs
doodles are bred for love. That's all I'm going to say on that. Doodles are bred for love. Everybody loves a doodle.
historically has been greed, that has given birth to some pretty horrendous breeding practices. A lot of people put down purebreds and praise mixes because they think that crossbreeding eliminates or reduces the risk for the unwanted traits of the parents. But in reality, you are creating a dog that has the potential to.
I think we understand it differently. I think I understood it as you are reducing the risk of the um, physiological disease traits that are inherent to purebreds, whatever the breed is, whatever they are prone to. That you are not eliminating, but reducing the risks of those breed diseases. That was my understanding of a doodle.
Have all of the unwanted traits from both parents. These designer mixes are often more prone to genetic diseases due to the irresponsible breeding practices. The logic is just inherently flawed. Purebreds are.
I'm going to have to say, I think your logic is inherently flawed on that one. Expanding any gene pool makes for a stronger specimen. That's all I'm going to say there.
Bred for a purpose, which means
If not, then we'd all be able to marry our first cousins, right?
they have strong traits, natural drive, and have consistent behavioral and personality traits. When you cross two breeds with two different purposes, you could end up with the best of both breeds, or you could end up with the worst of both breeds, and you are likely to get something that you don't want. Doodles are not recognized breeds. They're designer mutts, which means that there is no breed standard and no way to hold doodle breeders accountable. Breed standards are not about elitism or snobbiness like some people think. They are carefully made rules to help dogs maximize their genetic potential, their conformation, their health, their temperament. Breed standards are specific to each breed and are in the best interest of the dogs being born.
Definitely respect that. Definitely respect that. Don't have a problem with that. But, that's if you want a purebred dog, then you care about those things. If you want a purebred dog. Nothing wrong with purebred dogs. I think they're awesome. My in-laws deal in poodles, and it's awesome. I love their dogs. I have nothing against purebred dogs. I think they're beautiful. They're beautiful.
Without standards, there is no consensus on what type of health testing needs to be done. What health testing is done on breeding stock is specific to each breed based off of their specific genetic health risks.
It's your responsibility as a dog owner to get the appropriate test for your dog when it comes into your life. When Prudence was 8 weeks old and came into our lives, the first thing we did was make an appointment at the vet to get her a complete testing boards to see what diseases she was prone to, what we could look to in the future, what we had to be careful of, a complete set of veterinary tests. And you know what she came back as? Remarkably resilient.
We know the most likely risks associated with breeding two dogs of the same breed. Some doodle breeders say that their dogs are health tested, and they actually might be, but the problem is that there's no way for us to do it properly. We don't know all of the potential health risks that come along with crossbreeding. Just because a golden doodle's parents are a golden retriever and a standard poodle doesn't mean that the golden doodle puppy is going to be prone to what the retriever and the poodle are. Mixing two dogs of different breeds that are most likely not up to standard creates a complete genetic wildcard. Without breed standards, there is literally no way to determine what a doodle is going to look like or how they're going to behave when they grow up. There is zero predictability. Poodles are often crossed with dogs that have complete
zero predictability on any dog. You get litters of poodles. One's up hardy, one's in Africa. I mean, come on. Genetic diversity is genetic diversity.
Completely different purposes and have completely different structures and little to no behavioral or personality similarities, like Bernese mountain dogs and poodles. Combining breeds
Love
that
a
have completely
Bernedoodle.
different purposes, different conformations, different temperaments means that designer mixes have pretty much the same genetic predictability as dogs born on the streets. The point of purebreds is to create genetic consistency with valuable traits. People want and deserve to know what they're getting, and the reality is that with a doodle, you just never know. All doodles, even of the same kind, like all golden doodles for example, are completely different. If you
Yeah.
Google golden doodle, you're gonna see 10 different photos of 10 different dogs
Oh,
that
look at
all
those
look completely
doggies.
different. Their size, their coloring, their coat type are all over the place. Some are golden colored, some
Some are mini, some are regular, some are like, I think people are trying to make like teacups of these things now. Um, they're bred for different sizes. I'm sorry. It just happens.
are more beige or sandy, some are
So cute.
white, and some are even red. The amount of people who have asked me if my red standard poodle is a golden
See, I think you're angry because you have a purebred poodle and everybody asks you if it's a doodle. That's what I think. I think that, yeah, I think you might be a little bit of a dog snob. It's okay. It's all right. I'm a snob about a lot of things.
doodle is honestly crazy. One reason that there is no standard for doodles is because there is no consistency to the breeding stock. Many dogs used for doodle breeding don't meet the standards for their own breed because they come from unethical breeders. How do I know this? Ethical breeders, at least in North America, are associated with the AKC or the CKC and would not allow their dogs to be crossbred. They are committed to the preservation and betterment of their breeds. Breeders active in their breed communities are not going to risk their reputation by being associated with doodles, and breeders who are not active in their breed communities are likely not running reputable genetic programs. Allowing their dogs to be used for mixes would completely destroy their reputation. This means that most dogs being used to breed doodles come from puppy mills, shelters, or other backyard breeders. Generally, the more popular that a breed or mix is, the more likely that a puppy mill is to jump on the trend. Doodles are super popular, so they are currently one of the biggest sources of profit for puppy mills. Some people actually buy doodles from puppy mills not realizing that they're puppy mills because they put on a good front. Yes,
Some people buy purebred dogs from puppy mills and have no idea that they're buying them from puppy mills.
many puppy mills are disgusting, kennels aren't cleaned, dogs are covered in mats, sleeping in their own feces, but some are physically spotless, and some are run out of people's homes. A clean puppy mill is still a puppy mill. In my
So if you're not an AK certified breeder, you are a puppy mill. That's it. Okay? If you're not AKC or CKC, you're a puppy mill. You are not allowed, in this woman's mind, to breed dogs because you're not AKC certified or CKC certified. And you know what? I'm not even going to go there.
opinion, the only reason that people get doodles is because they're misinformed. A study done by researchers at the University of California actually showed that the decision to acquire a doodle is largely driven by appearance and the perception that they're good with kids and the assumption
Isn't that why you get any dog? Is because of its appearance.
that they're generally healthy. A lot of people buy doodles because they think they're hypoallergenic, and number one, there's no such thing as a hypoallergenic dog. All dogs produce allergens in their urine, their saliva, and their dander. People think
I think you think that doodle owners are really dumb, is what I'm getting the impression of. That we're really dumb. That we're like, oh, we're gonna get a dog and it's gonna be hypoallergenic. Everybody knows this. Anybody that knows anything about dogs knows that there's no such thing as a hypoallergenic dog. You get a doodle or a poodle, and guess what? You're reducing your chances of allergic reactions tremendously. Bottom line, all of us know that there's no dog that's 100% allergy proof.
that non-shedding means non-allergenic, but it just means that they're not shedding hair, which means that they're usually shedding less dander, which means less allergens. So it is true that, someone like me who has a dog allergy can get a non-shedding dog that is considered hypoallergenic and most likely be fine. I've never had an issue with my dog. That doesn't mean that he's hypoallergenic, it just means that he's shedding less allergens. Non-shedding and hypoallergenic does not mean no allergens, it just means less. But on top of that, doodles aren't non-shedding. Some of them are, but not a lot of them. Most doodles shed at least a little bit, and there's no way to determine if you're gonna get one that sheds or one that doesn't. Poodles are pretty much always crossed with dogs with fur. Poodles have hair. It's a different coat type. When you combine two different coat types, it's another genetic lottery. You may get a dog that doesn't shed at all, you may get a light to moderate shedder, or you may get a heavy shedder. There's no way to predict what you're gonna get. Two puppies from the same litter could have different coat types, and one could be a heavy shedder and one could basically...
Anybody who gets a doodle knows these things. I don't know why you think we're dumb. We're not.
Not shed at all. Lots of people get doodles because they're marketed as these great family dogs, and a lot of them are good with kids, energetic and cuddly, but a lot of them are also filled with aggression, reactivity, and anxiety. Many doodles...
Okay, gotta stop you there. Once again, you're acting like, or you're talking to us like we're stupid. Okay, if you have a reactive dog, if you have an aggressive dog, if you have a dog that is just a quote unquote not a very good dog, that's your fault. That's absolutely your fault. You have not done the training from the moment it's got come into your life. You've not set the parameters of what you expect them to be. You have not undergone training. You've not gone through any sort of training with them. You have not either done it yourself or done it in conjunction with classes. My dog could have a PhD for the amount of training classes that she has. She is an AKC good citizen. She has been for all of her life. She has done a myriad of classes. If you don't exercise your dog, socialize your dog, of course you're going to have a reactive nut of a dog. And that's your fault. That's your fault as the owner. Dogs don't come out aggressive and reactive just because they're a doodle. You come out that way, any dog, because the owner, me, is not meeting the needs of that dog.
Have unpredictable and undesirable behavior that come from irresponsible backyard breeders not knowing how to properly raise or socialize puppies. It's also partially through the genetics from the parents because temperament and behavior is affected by genetics. And again, there's no consistency or standard to the breeding stock. Most people also have no idea how much coat maintenance doodles need. That study that I was...
It's the first thing you learn about when you start looking into doodles is you understand that you're going to spend a lot of money at the groomer. All right, there are a lot of irresponsible pet owners of all different kinds of dogs that do not meet the basic needs of the dog. If you have a doodle, you know that you're going to spend a lot of time combing it out, and you know that you're going to spend a lot of money at the groomer. No matter how much care you do yourself for your dog, you still need that groomer. I cut Prudence, I comb Prudence, I brush Prudence, I bathe Prudence, but she has to go to the groomer just to make sure. And you know the problem areas of the doodle. It's back here, under here, the elbows. You don't want to get those places. Definitely have to, and the feet, of course. You definitely have to comb those places out, and the pads of the feet, of course. Every time we go to the groomer, of course they clean that up. But when we have a vet appointment, we always ask them to clean that up too. So these are not just doodle problems. Grooming of a long-haired dog is, a lot of people don't understand what that means. And it's unfortunate because Matt's hurt, and you don't want to hurt your dog. Being a person who has crinkly hair, I don't want it to get mad at.
Talking about a second ago where people, doodles under false perceptions. Yeah, it also showed that the grooming needs of doodles took a lot more work than owners originally thought. If you're getting a doodle, And please, please, for the love of God, don't. But if you are, be
We live in a free society. We have the right to get whatever we want. If you can afford it, you get whatever you want. If you want a purebred dog, if you want a shelter dog, if you want a dog from a nonprofit somewhere halfway across the world, if you want a doodle, if you can afford it and you can give it a loving, great home, a forever home, then get it. No one has the right to tell you what you can or cannot have.
prepared for a completely unpredictable mixed coat type. Professional grooming every 6 to 8 weeks minimum, and regular at-home bathing and brushing. A lot of doodle owners neglect these grooming needs because they either don't know that it's needed, or they don't have the time or energy, or they don't care. And this is like the #1 cause of those videos that you see on TikTok with the audio that's like, this is what I wanted, the pastels, and this is what I got. And it's like sending their dog to the groomer and their dog comes home and it's completely shaven down. Girl, your dog was covered in mats. Brush your damn dog. Sorry, this is a area of frustration for me because I see so many people who don't brush their long-haired dogs properly, and it's very frustrating because
Someone's triggered.
it's not just about the look. Mats can cause severe bruising. They hurt, okay? Brush your dog. Or keep them completely shaved, whichever. When doodles fall short of buyers' expectations, they are often abandoned or dropped off at shelters.
As any dog is. As any dog is. It's unfortunate. It's sad. A lot of people do not understand what it takes financially, emotionally, time wise to have a dog. You just don't understand it until you're in it. The vet is expensive, the groomer's expensive, food is out of this world. I mean, my dog's a nut and will only eat very particular food, and it has to have freshly cooked protein on top of it, or she's not going to eat it. You know, dogs are expensive. Anything's expensive.
A lot of doodles end up in shelters. So if you want a doodle, go get one from the shelter. For example, there's no guarantee that a doodle won't shed, but the breeder promises that they won't. So a family who has a kid with an allergy buys a doodle. The puppy sheds a hair here or there. The parents think that it's just a puppy thing, but when the puppy nears a year old and they become a moderate shedder, they have to take it to the shelter because their kid has an allergy. Doodles are bred for one reason and one reason only: profit. And you know, you may say,
Cat, all breeders breed for profit. You know, they breed to get money.
and you know what? That's exactly what my mom said when I was explaining this to her, and I will tell you exactly what I told her.
Nobody's doing anything for the love of the breed. They're at least breaking even. Have you seen some of the prices asked for a single purebred puppy of a certain sort? I mean, they ain't cheap. They ain't cheap at all. We can say doodles are, oh, they're designer dogs, they're so expensive. You know what? Go get a purebred poodle. Tell me how much that's going to cost you.
There is no money in breeding dogs, okay? Ethical purebred breeders do not get into breeding to make money because it is not a very profitable business.
No, they just do it for the love of the
You have to source the
game.
breeding stock, pay for the OFA health testing, pay for that dog's regular dog needs, food, grooming, vet bills. When the mom gets pregnant, you have to pay for regular vet visits, and then when the puppies are born, you have to pay for all of their needs. They need to go to the vet, and when they're done drinking milk, they need food. You have to take them to the groomer, make sure they're properly socialized. Even if you sell each puppy for a couple $1,000s, that barely covers the cost of running a responsible breeding program, let alone covering groceries and rent. Dogs are expensive. So why do purebred breeders breed?
I hope ethical breeders aren't breeding purebred poodles in their one-bedroom apartments. I mean, she said rent.
Because they care about the preservation and betterment of their breed. They are passionate about creating good quality, healthy dogs. That doesn't exist for doodles. Doodles aren't breeds. There's no breed preservation happening.
I think that is incredibly just wrong. You don't know every doodle breeder. You have no idea. And that is just I want to say an entitled statement, and I am going to say that. That is an incredibly entitled statement where you know every breeder and you know everything. Doodles are great dogs. They are fantastic dogs. I've met a zillion of them, and I can only think of a handful that I didn't like. And that was because their owners hadn't treated them correctly. They hadn't taken the time to do the things that you need to do to have a perfect dog, which is a doodle.
And doodles always end up getting sold for way more than they're worth because, they're popular and everyone wants one. They're the hot new thing. So breeders can
Actually, you just told us that they've been around since 1989, so I don't know if that's a hot new thing or what.
charge whatever they want and people will pay it because no one does their freaking research. The only reason to breed doodles is money. And that is not a good enough reason to bring new life into the world. In my experience, you don't want a doodle. You want a poodle. You just don't know it. Every time I hear someone list off the reasons why they got a doodle or why they...
If I wanted a poodle, I would have gotten a poodle. I wanted a doodle because it's a combination of two really cool dogs. A poodle and a Saint Bernard. Put them together. I got Prudence the doodle, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And I don't think that she is a Frankenstein or a Frankenmonster. I don't think that. I think she is a perfect dog, and I just think your video is a little. I think it's a little virtue signaling, and I don't agree with you at all. I don't agree with you at all.
want to get a doodle, they're just describing a poodle. You want an active, energetic, lovable family dog that is good with kids, loves a cuddle, wants to do fun activities like hiking, swimming, and agility, is highly intelligent, doesn't shed, doesn't drool, and rarely causes allergic reactions in people with dog allergies, and has a specific look. You want a poodle. All you have to do is trim it like a doodle and no one can tell the difference. Trust me, I get stopped at least 3 times a week on the street by someone who wants to know what breed my dog is, and they all say the
Trust me, Prudence's winter coat, it's the standard poodle cut. It's friggin' awesome. How many people on the street stop me and say, hey, that's a beautiful standard poodle. Like, no, dude, she's a doodle. She's a poodle and a Saint Bernard.
same thing. Is it a golden doodle or a labradoodle?
And people like you must hate it because you're dog snobs.
I'm pretty sure I've only actually ever had 2 people that asked me if my dog was a poodle. Proof. Nobody can tell the difference, and I don't even trim him like a doodle. I don't get the teddy bear cut or the shag cut or the poofy cheeks. I trim him like a sporty poodle. People still think he's a doodle. Trust me, don't get a doodle, get a responsibly bred poodle. You will be much happier. Just be warned, they are crazy smart, so they will...
I say it again, and I'm going to say it again and again and again. We live in a free society. You get whatever the heck you want. You don't listen to me. You don't listen to her. If you're ready to get a dog and you can be a responsible pet owner, you get what you like. You get it where you want, how you want it, because it's your dog and it's your responsibility. Cats, creatures. I'm Prudence the Doodle. Well, I'm not Prudence the Doodle, but I'm Prudence's mom. And if you want to talk about this further and debate this, I am open to it. Folks, please like, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Am I totally off? I could be, but, we all have the right to a different opinion. That's a great thing. So let me know in the comments below what you think. And if you like it, subscribe. But please, hit that like button. Do it for Prudence. And we'll see you next time. Hey, one more thing. If you like this kind of content and you want us to see us do more of it, leave a comment in the comment section. Bye-bye.